Hello, all my YouTube people. You know who has been a little bit of a nuisance today, so I'm hoping that I will actually get to film this video. But we'll see. I have a subscriber, Q-Dog Macat, I think is his name. He actually suggested I do a video about growing up in the Rio Grande Valley. And I think that that is a good topic, but I was sitting here trying to think it out and came to kind of realize that, speak of the devil, that I really can't do that in one video. So I'm going to do a positive video and then a negative video. You might notice some of these in both videos because they carry some aspects of both. Okay, so this is going to be the good list. Number one, it's a very cheap area, even now I think, but you know, when I was a kid it was just really cheap. Obviously that can carry some negatives, but for example, our house was about, well, I don't want to give an exact number, but it was less than 30K. It was less than 25K. Not after taxes, but you know, initial price. Or not after interest, but you know, initial price. The food is cheap, it's affordable to go out, and therefore kind of affordable to go and do other things. You know, you have money left over to go see movies, and you know, there are a lot of concerts in the area and stuff like that. So the affordability of the area allows you to kind of live a little bigger than you could, say, up in Dallas-Fort Worth. Number two, the people are a little bit friendly, are genuinely pretty friendly, even if they are a bit racist. A lot of people just kind of keep that to themselves and deal with other people like they're just another person. That's pretty refreshing, actually. A lot of the nicest people I've met in Texas are in the Rio Grande Valley. There's some genuinely nice people down there. And because there's some genuinely nice people, it does get hard to stop showing people your butt. It does get hard to not spend some time there every year, just as a kind of refreshment of that. My brother asked recently if my arm gets tired holding him like this, and this is actually my destroyed shoulder, so yeah, sometimes like my hand starts to tingle, but like this is how Joe likes to be with me. Number three, the area even now doesn't feel overly crowded. I've been home, you know, a few times within the last few years, just to take care of some odds and ends, and it just, even though, say, Harlingen, my hometown, has grown in some ways, it's grown in pockets, and those little pockets have gotten a little bit more busy, but for the most part it's still a fairly uncrowded area, and it feels that way. You know, you can drive on Business 83 from, say, Harlingen to La Feria, and there's not going to be a traffic problem there. In fact, you might not see another car for a while, depending on the day it is. Like if you're doing that on a Sunday, some stretches of road are still pretty desolate. It's really pretty nice compared to the sprawling mass of frankly bullshit that DFW's become. I drove Lyft Express for a while up here, And some of my worst driving days were on Sundays. Sunday is one of the hardest days to drive around here for some reason. Number 4, and I've discussed this in another video. Most of Texas votes pretty red, right? It's pinked up a little bit because of all of the transplants. Like if you look at the current, poll map, Texas is not a hard red like it used to be. And in fact, it's not even a hard pink. It's getting pretty pink. But I would say that the most democratic voting area of the state is probably the Rio Grande Valley. I'm not sure why that is. It's a pretty laid-back area. That might have something to do with it. It's also pretty agricultural, so the Democrats tend to be into agriculture in a little different way than the GOP is. But I know a lot of Valley people, at least when I lived there, that would vote blue quite a bit. Like I said, I don't really know why that is. And I will throw that in as well. The area is very laid back. When I say that, I mean people down there just aren't really in a hurry, When I do go back home, like if I'm going to go back home for a couple of weeks and visit my grandfather and my mom and, my aunt and stuff like that, I have this just overwhelming urge to sleep. Like I will almost, if I'm not careful, just sleep my whole, week vacation or 2-week vacation away. Like it's like a sedative being down there. I had a cousin who's considerably older than me. He would come down for a visit for a couple of months sometimes, and he kind of said the same thing. Like it is just so laid back and kind of slow down there that it's just difficult not to sleep a lot. I'm not necessarily trying to say there's not a lot to do, but there may not be a whole lot to do for somebody who's not into outdoor activities. I'll get to that in a moment. There's only so many, derelict malls and, Walmarts that you can go and visit, and, parks that you can walk in before you're kind of, bored of things. So, but all that being said, the pace is sort of nice when you've gotten used to, a metroplex. Because DFW is not slow in any way. It's very fast paced. Things move at a really high speed, including traffic. It's just interesting. So I guess can consider that a bonus. Like things are just very laid back and very kind of slow. And again, very democratic. People tend to vote. A lot of the most leftist voters in Texas are, I'm just guessing here, but it's probably going to be the RGV area. Number 5, the area has many ties to Scotland, believe it or not. I believe that has to do with and this is just going from memory here, I didn't research this before the video or anything, but I believe that there was a Scottish military regiment down there that had some deep involvement in the Spanish-American War or something like that. You guys will have to research that. But there are a lot of towns in the area that kind of carry a Scottish sort of name, like McAllen. Probably the biggest city. It was the most developing city in the United States for a long time. So there's McAllen, there's Brownsville, there is Edinburgh. We call it Edinburgh, but it's Edinburgh. I believe it's spelled the same way, but everybody pronounces it Edinburgh down there. There is a Scottish Society of South Texas, which my father was the president of for a couple of years. So, despite being like on the border of Mexico, there are a lot of kind of elements of Scotland there. Raymondville might also be kind of that might come from that. It's kind of interesting. The Scottish Society of South Texas is kind of neat. They get together, a few times a year and, sing a bunch of Scottish songs and have a bunch of, like, shortbread cookies and occasionally some haggis and stuff like that. Really good, friendly group of people. And I guess kind of because of that, there's a really heavy kind of Presbyterian, kind of Protestant religious kind of element to the area as well. I was a confirmed. The church doesn't exist anymore, but I was confirmed into the Presbyterian Church of South Texas. That was there in Harlingen for a long time. Also, another kind of interesting aspect of the area. Number 6, there is a lot of outdoorsy kind of stuff to do. If you like fishing, there's all kinds of canals to fish in. There's a few lakes to fish in. Thank you, Joe. There's Port Isabel and South Padre Island, not too far from, say, the Brownsville, Harlingen Metroplex. There's hiking. There used to be, I'm not sure of the status of this place anymore, but there used to be the Santa Ana Wildlife Refuge that you could go to. There are a number of other smaller wildlife refuges. There's one in my hometown, just off Ed Carey, kind of near the Ed Carey Harrison Tyler kind of intersection, where those become one two-way road again for a little bit, which is kind of a smaller wildlife refuge, but a wildlife refuge nonetheless. It's one of the biggest birding areas in the country. There's a lot of different flora and fauna down there. A lot of people like surfing, go to South Padre to surf. Hiking can be pretty popular. Of course, just having to get to your job on foot is like hiking in the valley to a certain extent. But if you're an outdoorsy person, there's quite a bit for you to do. I mean, hell, most people own like a good piece of land. Owning an acre of land is pretty popular in the valley. Sometimes even a few more. But I don't know who that's watching this has ever had to take care of an acre of land, but it's a lot to take care of. You're going to be, probably working that land every weekend, or even some days after work. It was very common for my dad to get home from work and then go out and do more work, which you know, again, is one of those things that can carry some negatives with it, I guess, but that's another video. So yeah, if you're an outdoorsy person and you know you like that kind of stuff, the valley's a great place. You know, it's hot, but it is a great place for that. And finally, number 7. Let me see here. Have my glasses on. It is one of the biggest, I kind of mentioned this, it is one of the biggest agricultural areas in the, probably in the nation, I would think. We grow a huge amount of citrus down there. They're like orange fields and grapefruit fields as far as the eye can see sometimes. My hometown in particular is, well, not just my hometown, but the area is really big for growing cotton. My hometown has a cotton gin in it. I've seen a few others here and there, of course, but one of the main gins was at least there in Harlingen. I'm not sure if it's quite there anymore. I don't get around that part of town much. And sugarcane. Sugarcane was a big crop down there for a long time. I assume it still is. And then there's a number of, you know, greens and grains. Cabbage is another real popular crop down there. Its value as an agricultural area is pretty serious. Aloe vera is another very popular crop down there. Because of the heat, it tends to grow very well. As far as other industries go, in the early 2000s, the customer service industry started coming down to the valley pretty seriously. So I wouldn't be surprised if a lot of their call center jobs down there haven't been outsourced. Wages in the area are typically pretty low, so it still might be an effective place to run customer service, although some of those might have started to go remote, you know. Anyway, there you go. 7 reasons why growing up in the Rio Grande Valley was kind of positive. I would throw in also that it is, like I said, it is a highly Hispanic area, but there are some other cultures there, as I pointed out. You know, I know some British people from there. I know some South African people from there. You know, there are other cultures that move to the valley, but it is highly Hispanic. Anyway, hope you enjoyed the video. goemonronin signing out. Please subscribe to my channel. I'm trying to get some growth, and you know, please submit ideas for other videos. I appreciate that. Have a nice day and Labor Day weekend.